Hey, what's up? Amelia here. Let's see what's coming up on today's news break. Australia cracks down on COVID. Why people are talking about this piece of cardboard. And new sounds and pictures from Mars. But first, you know what I'm going to say, don't forget to hit subscribe. Just when it seems like Australia might be done with COVID, it's back in a big way. Many states have tightened restrictions and shut their borders. And over the weekend, New South Wales and the Northern Territory went into lockdown. So what's going on?
Yeah, it's all happening at the moment. Let's start with New South Wales, where today the state recorded 18 new cases. It's been trying to slow down the recent outbreak, which is why on Saturday, Greater Sydney and all of these areas went into a 2-week lockdown. And now they have some lockdown buddies in the NT. Darwin's just had its first full day of lockdown for the first time ever. Their lockdown comes after a worker at a mine tested positive for the virus, and it'll now last until Friday. That's got Western Australia worried too. Restrictions have tightened there after someone tested positive to coronavirus who visited New South Wales. And fans were turned away from yesterday's AFL match between the West Coast Eagles and the Western Bulldogs.
Is what it is, I guess, unfortunately.
To Queensland now, which has announced 3 new cases today, including the highly infectious Delta variant. It's tightening restrictions from tomorrow, and people will have to carry face masks wherever they go. For the first time in the ACT since the pandemic began, people will have to wear masks too. The states that are doing okay at the moment have tightened their borders to stop the spread. And for now, people everywhere are hoping that these measures help us get on top of it.
Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews is back at work today for the first time since his accident. Mr. Andrews has been out since March after falling on wet stairs and fracturing his vertebrae and breaking 6 ribs. Ouch.
I knew I was in trouble. I didn't really connect with the step, it just slid straight off. And then all I could hear was just this almighty crunch.
The Premier and his wife put up this video on social media explaining what happened and thanked people for their support. It's been a big weekend for sport. We've got State of Origin results, the A-League Grand Final, and a piece of cardboard that stole the show at the Tour de France. Here's Paul.
Here comes Tommy again.
Blues have absolutely dominated in the second State of Origin, winning 26-0 over the Maroons in Brisbane.
Tedesco got it out the back.
That's right, not a single try for Queensland. Ouch. The third and final game will take place in Sydney in 2 weeks, but as New South Wales are up 2 games out of 3, they take home the State of Origin shield no matter who wins now.
Tedesco tonight.
Meanwhile, on the Sunshine Coast, it was the opposite story. The women's State of Origin is a single winner-takes-all game, and that game was a tie until the very end. Talk about tension. It all came down to this penalty kick from Lauren Brown.
She's done it.
She helped Queensland to a 2-point win. It was also the first time where a women's State of Origin fixtures players, coaches and on-field officials were all women.
Backing passes, Barbara!
Melbourne City have made history in the A-League, claiming their first ever championship. They defeated Sydney FC 3-1.
Go for goal! Melbourne City!
The Tour de France began.
And the Tour de France is underway, but it didn't get off to a great start. This pile-up happened during the first stage of the race, and it all started with one fan who just wasn't paying attention.
Spectator sign took down Tony Martin and most of the rest of the peloton.
Yeah, not ideal. Some riders had to go to hospital, and Tour de France organisers and French police are on the lookout for the fan who caused the pile-up.
China. It's doing a lot of stuff in space right now, so we thought we'd call this China doing stuff in space. You know who's going places? This rover. And by places, I mean 236 metres on Mars. The 6-wheeled, solar-powered Zhurong rover is driving about 18 metres per day on the red, sandy soil of Mars. So what does Mars sound like? It's a question we've been asking for ages. Well, until NASA's Perseverance rover came along and recorded it for us earlier this year. But hey, that was months ago, and now China's rover's done it too, and we want to hear it. Look, it's kind of odd sounding, but that's probably because it's also picking up on the sounds of the rover moving. What's it really like living on a space station? Well, who better to ask than these animated panda astronauts? China released the video to show how the 3 astronauts aboard the country's new space station are living and working there. Look, it may not be 100% scientifically accurate, but it does make space look fun and tasty. Well, that's the news for now, but we'll be back with more news for you tomorrow. Catch you then.